Dr. Kai Nkosi. How are you? And welcome to Kai Nkosi Soul and Spirit. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the tribe. Today, I have a special treat for you. And I have been thinking about this beautiful queen, the queen of rock and roll, and this beautiful sister, this beautiful goddess who has transitioned. And this is none other than Tina Turner. And I wanted to just do something special today. I just wanted to talk about her a little bit because for those of you that don't know, I get like this when great souls pass. I feel like I just need to honor them in some way. And so since I have this channel, I had the opportunity to do this on social media. Last night I was back and forth with a friend of mine who was telling me a great story about Tina Turner and how she actually helped out, did a great favor for, I believe it was his granddaughter in a time of need. And it was a safety situation, and Tina happened to be there, and she happened to take action. And he just said he'd never forgotten that. And it was a beautiful story, Then I went on to share with him what I knew about Tina. I said many years ago, I visited Monaco. This might have been 20 years ago, which is on the French Riviera. And it was a very special trip, beautiful trip. But I remember when we got there, some of the locals were telling us that Tina actually, one of her homes, I know she has a home in Switzerland, but she actually owned one of her homes was located in Monaco, or right just off of Monaco on an island. And they were talking about how she would fly in and by helicopter, and the helicopter would land on her island, and her property was on that island, and she would come and go. And then she had I don't know whether it was dual citizenship at that time, but she actually did have citizenship in Monaco at one time. And I know she's very, very famous and very wealthy, so she also has properties other places in the world. And from what I understand, as she was in her old age, she just moved to Switzerland and I maybe chose that property. But that was a fantastic thing for me to find out, because here I was in this beautiful little tiny nation territory, I guess, of Monaco, which is, I guess it's right off of France, and it's its own little I guess territory, sort of like the Vatican or whatever. And I found out that many of the world's wealthiest people actually lived in Monaco. And it's just a beautiful little hidden gem paradise, tucked away right at the beginning point, I guess, of the French, right where the French and Italian Riviera meet. And it's right on the coast, and the houses, the beautiful homes are up on the cliffs and looking down on the water, just like spectacular. So every time I think about Tina Turner, or every time I would think about her over the years, I would remember that trip, and I would think to myself, wow, this was a woman who began very humble beginnings. I believe she was from Tennessee, I believe it was, and she wound up living this fabulous, royal, amazing, awe-inspiring life, and how she just blazed this trail, and she was just a great spirit. She just left this huge legacy, not only of talent and of great works and good works and deeds, but I'm talking about a spiritual legacy, and I'm going to get to that. But we know her as Anna Mae Bullock. She died at 83. Just recently we found that out. She was born in Tennessee in 1939. She was part of, for those of you that don't know, for all the youngins out there, she was part of the infamous yet abusive duo of Ike and Tina Turner. And we'll get to that. Her career was revived at the age of 44. And at the age of 45, she won 4 Grammy Awards for What's Love Got to Do with It, the very famous song. And she, in 1991, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as the duo Ike and Tina Turner. And then in 2021, she was inducted again as a solo artist into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She was married to Erwin Bach, who was a German record executive. They have been together, I want to say, somewhere like 20, 30 years or so before they actually got married. So they were great partners. And he was the type of partner that just allowed her to shine. And I thought it was a beautiful story when she met him. And I want to say that he was about close to 30 years younger than her, something like that. And right there, that was right there. I knew. I said, that's some goddess energy right there. But I love to hear stories like that. Because only a goddess can do that, and have such a powerful relationship and partnership over a long period of time, in which she was just allowed to shine because her star was just so bright. She could only have a certain type of divine masculine that could have handled her type of powerful energy that she channeled everywhere she went. She was just pure, straight fire. And so, yeah, she had that goddess energy. And, my mother was like that, she's in heaven as well. That was Frida Barnes. She was like that. She had that goddess energy. And even as she was up in age, just to have partnerships, and a partner that's much younger, but able to handle, all of that goddess and queen energy is just a beautiful thing. And so, yes, she was a part of the famous duo, Ike and Tina Turner. But as you know, Ike was very abusive, and that was a huge story with her. But, through that abuse, she overcame. All of the adversities in her life. And of course, we saw that portrayed on the big screen with Angela Bassett, who played her so very well. Should have gotten an Oscar for that. But yes, she was a powerful spirit that overcame. And the thing that I saw about her, I started going back to some of the YouTube videos, and I reminded my friend, I was having this back and forth on social media about Tina Turner. And I said, Tina was a practicing Buddhist. And he said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yes, Tina was a practicing Buddhist. She grew up in Tennessee, like most of us, in the Black church and everything. So, of course, she had her strong faith in Christ. She had, she was grew up Christian. However, when she was encountering so many huge adversities and huge attacks. They were, spiritual attacks through the abusive relationship that she was in, and we do need to see abusive relationships as spiritual attacks, okay? Because she was packing with destiny and packing with gifting, and the enemy knows that a lot of times the only way that he can get to a divine feminine is through a partner who is tied to low vibrational energy, who is tied to malevolent entities that might be in that person's aura in the form of addictions or what have you. And divine feminines need to be very careful. Women with great destiny, purpose, and power have to be very careful about, making sure that we don't attach ourselves to individuals that will abuse us and harm us, because the dark forces, all right, malevolent energies or entities can work through people and can work through the individuals that are closest to you to destroy and to kill the gift. And I could have taken her out before the world would have known anything about this huge gift and huge energy in the person of Tina Turner. And so we find that she pretty much decided that, she was going to live. She was going to live and not die. She was going to do it her way. And she left Ike, and she needed assistance. There was, I'm sure, mental, emotional, psychic trauma that she experienced from long-term abuse, being in an abusive relationship, not just physical abuse, but verbal abuse, emotional abuse, and manipulation, because he was her manager. He ran her. He had total control of this woman, and her life was threatened many times. But when she finally got out, of course, she had her faith in her traditional Christian belief system, but she needed help. And so she was introduced to Buddhism as a practice of spirituality that assisted her in tapping in to her inner strength, to tapping in to that space inside of her where she could begin to transmute these energies. And so she became a master. She was masterful in her ability to transmute pain, to transmute the trauma. And it means that you take, all of the negative and traumatic adversities and horrific experiences. You take those tragedies and those failures and those weak spots in your life, and you use those negative experiences as fuel, all right, to channel that as fuel into creative projects, into becoming more successful, into leveling up, into becoming the best version of yourself, into learning something new, into studying something new, into offering some type of service or gifting to humanity. And so it causes you to dig deep. And that's what she did. She became an alchemist. And that's what alchemy is. Taking those negative experiences and transmuting means that you're working all of those experiences together, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pain, the trauma, all right? And you are creating something new with that negative energy. And so pain has a purpose, and pain is used, okay, for a greater or higher purpose, helping us to level up in life. And that's exactly what she did. And so there's a scripture that reminds me of that. All things work together for good. All things work together. That is the whole idea of alchemy. All right. Taking negative energy and using it as fuel to help you to level up in life, to become better, to become greater, to become more humble, to dig deep, to overcome the trauma, to heal, to extend forgiveness. I'm not saying you have to be with people that harmed you or hurt you, but to take that pain and to begin to create something beautiful, a beautiful new you, to reinvent, all right, to revive, to restore, to heal with the help of the Most High. That's what she did. And so that's a beautiful thing. So she was a master alchemist. And when we talk about Buddhism, most Black folks don't know anything about Buddhism. And when I found out years ago that she was a practicing Buddhist, I was like, what do Black folks know about Buddhism? That's the thing I begin to question. But what we see with Buddhism is that if you really study it, all right, you will find out that Buddhism is not really a religion per se, but it's a practice or a way of life. It's a way of life. All right. And it's a way of life of adopting a path of peace, adopting spiritual practices that include meditation. And she talked about, in many videos online, you can check it out, she talked about how she was introduced to these chants or mantras, and how she began to practice these mantras and spend time meditating, and how it helped her to heal deeply and from the inside out, to heal psychically, emotionally, mentally, to really get clear on who she is, on her purpose, and leaning into that purpose. And it was just, to me, she's just a goddess. She's just an amazing gift to the world. And when I see great souls like this, as you see it often, like with Prince, different ones, Luther Vandross, people with really great gifts, they are at a point in their life where they don't have to come back. They don't have to continue to be on a cycle of reincarnation. They're about to come off of that wheel, but they come back and they choose to come back. And before they take their last trip around, it's just my theory, they come back with the most explosive and powerful gifts. And a lot of times they deliver something to the world in the form of music, in a form of great, amazing talent. But these will also be people in their private lives that have a very powerful ascension story. And she is one of those individuals. They have very powerful connections with spirit, with source, with the Most High. And their stories are absolutely amazing. And she's a goddess. And I looked at some of her videos on YouTube, and I saw how she was involved in creating music that was tapped in to a very heavenly, ethereal realm where they were singing and she was chanting and they were recording, and it was just so beautiful. And I was listening to some of this music and I was just captivated. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just awesome. You just feel like you just floating, you're about to just take off, right? So, I know a lot of our people might be a little bit put off by the whole Buddhist thing because, we were growing up and they preached on it so hard. We preached on it so hard. But just when you hear her chanting and when you hear her using this strange language and this strange mantra, when you hear her, because she's on video doing that, it's beautiful. And I realized, I said, it's not a whole lot of difference between that and somebody speaking in tongues for a half hour after they prayed. Somebody really going deep and speaking in glossolalia or in other languages. And this is a spiritual practice that you find in Pentecostal circles, spiritual circles. You find it in different spiritual influences around the world. But so it's not just the Black church or Black folks that speak in tongues, but it's a release, and it's a way to communicate cosmically, and it's a way to communicate spiritually. Your spirit is open up to higher realms, and it is a beautiful space, and it is a beautiful practice. And I think that spiritually intelligent people are able to look at Tina's life and say, here is this beautiful Black woman from Tennessee, from America, who found a spiritual practice. She explored, she opened herself up, she trusted spirit enough to try a spiritual practice that enabled her to level up and enabled her to transform her life and really become the queen of rock and roll and the goddess that we really needed her to become, because she has left us a spiritual legacy. And I looked on YouTube at her videos and everything that she left, and I was like, this woman has blazed the trail. She has left a path for individuals to walk, those that choose to walk down that path, those that choose to explore, because it's totally your choice. I don't advocate anything. I just give insights. I share what I see. I'm spiritually intelligent. I'm a discerner. And the tree is known by its fruit. And this is some beautiful Tina Turner. Okay, animated bullet. This is some beautiful fruit right here. So something she was doing has worked for her. Okay, let's say it worked for her. And she has transitioned, and just a beautiful soul has completed her work and completed her divine assignment. And I'm understanding she passed peacefully, 83 years old. And she went on to that next assignment, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but, I must say, job well done, well done. And I said, and namaste, namaste. That's all I can say at this point. The light in me honors the light in you, Tina Turner. Just a beautiful, awe-inspiring soul. And I just wanted to take the time to share that and with everyone. And I just believe that great souls have the ability to join your spiritual team And I said, if I had anybody on my team, I would want Tina right now. Tina, I need you on my spiritual team. Yes, because she did the damn thing. She did the damn thing, and I just wanted to take this time just to honor her work, her great talent, her great success, and the ability to overcome every obstacle, everything that was thrown at her in life. She transcended, and that's our job. So she has blazed a path and a trail. So just wanted to honor her in this moment and in this space. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment of silence. Thank you. Go on to you can go on to Amazon. Here's my book series. It's called Spiritual Intelligence. And spiritual intelligence, as I was stating, is all about advanced souls and individuals who really are called to do what Tina did, to take the adversity of life, to transmute pain, trauma, everything else, to heal, and to deliver something beautiful, to make a beautiful contribution in your lifetime. And we explore indigenous systems. We explore, spiritual paths. We're fearless. We're bold. We don't operate in fear. This is not a religion. I believe that people should be free to honor their sacred truth and to explore paths that serve them best. Okay, and most of the time, that path will be independent. I advocate spiritual independence and autonomy. And I know that spirit is alive and well outside of external religious authority and external religious doctrines. All right. And we can glean from doctrine, but we're not bound by it. There's no moratorium on revelation. And God is pouring out spirit in these last days in the form of sacred ancient knowledge. And isn't that what Tina did? She transformed her life using a sacred system of spiritual practice. She overcame. She overcame, and she used that system beautifully. So everyone is free to choose whatever their path that works for them, as long as that path does no harm. All right. But yeah, check out my book series on Amazon. You got to get a copy. It's an awesome book series. It's a 2-volume book series, Spiritual Intelligence, The Reawakening of Black Spiritual Genius. And the second book is The Christology. And I talk about the mythical Christ, the African Christ, the Gnostic Christ, the mythological Christ. I get into it. Yes, I am a natural researcher, and that's what I do, and that's what I've done. I started the channel to find my tribe, and if this resonates with you, then please like the video and please join the tribe. Subscribe. The subscription is free. So we just want you to be a part of what we have going on here, okay? And I just want to say that I love you much. If nobody said they love you, I love you. There's big love here for you. And let's just keep the celebration of Tina Turner going. And her memory certainly is timeless and is ageless. And we'll always hold her dear, okay? God bless you. Love you guys. And we'll talk soon, okay? Bye-bye.